The 12th century in England was a period of immense change and upheaval. The Norman Conquest, a mere century earlier, had left its mark, forever altering the fabric of English society. The old Anglo-Saxon order struggled to find its footing amidst the new Norman aristocracy, creating a volatile mix of ambition, resentment, and shifting allegiances. The death of each king brought with it the potential for chaos, as rival claimants jostled for power and influence. It was into this cauldron of uncertainty that Stephen of Blois, our protagonist, was born. His life, marked by both opportunity and adversity, would become intertwined with the fate of a nation teetering on the brink. To truly understand the forces that shaped Stephen's destiny, we must journey back to the year 1066, when William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, set sail across the English Channel and forever altered the course of English history. William's victory at the Battle of Hastings ushered in a new era, one in which the old Anglo-Saxon aristocracy was supplanted by a new ruling class of Norman lords. This seismic shift in power had profound and lasting consequences, creating a legacy of instability and conflict that would haunt England for decades to come. Stephen of Blois, grandson of William the Conqueror, was never meant to be king. Yet fate, often a cruel mistress, had other plans. When his uncle Henry I died in 1135, leaving only his daughter Matilda as heir, Stephen seized the opportunity. His swift action, coupled with his lineage and charisma, allowed him to claim the throne, setting the stage for one of the most turbulent periods in English history. Stephen's early life was a blend of privilege and expectation, shaped by his noble lineage and the tumultuous political landscape of 12th century Europe. Born into the powerful Blois family, his upbringing provided him with a comprehensive education, befitting a young nobleman destined for a life of influence.
From a young age, I was exposed to the intricacies of courtly life, the delicate dance of diplomacy, and the ever-present threat of military conflict.
Family played a pivotal role in Stephen's life, shaping his ambitions and influencing his decisions. As the nephew of Henry I of England, Stephen was acutely aware of his proximity to the English throne. This awareness fueled his desire for power and instilled in him a sense of destiny. Stephen was a man of intriguing contradictions, a devout Christian who could also be ruthless in his pursuit of power. His deep religious convictions were more than mere political maneuvering. They were a fundamental aspect of his character. He was known for his generosity toward the church, founding monasteries and supporting religious institutions. His piety earned him the support of influential figures within the church, who saw him as a righteous leader who would defend the faith and uphold Christian values. Henry I, the fourth Norman king of England, had ruled with an iron fist for over 3 decades. His reign, though marked by periods of conflict, had brought a measure of stability and prosperity to the realm. Yet, as the year 1135 drew to a close, a sense of unease settled over the kingdom. Henry, now in his 60s, had no legitimate sons to inherit his throne. The only heir apparent was his daughter Matilda, but the idea of a woman ruling England was anathema to many in the male-dominated world of the 12th century.
The throne should be mine by right, but will they ever accept me as their ruler?
News of Henry I's death reached Stephen of Blois, the king's nephew, while he was in Boulogne.
This is our moment. The throne is up for grabs, and we must act swiftly.
Stephen, known for his ambition and decisiveness, immediately recognized the opportunity that had presented itself. Despite having sworn an oath to support Matilda's claim, he wasted no time in gathering his supporters and setting sail for England.
Our loyalty lies with you, Stephen. We will follow you to England and beyond.
With his loyal knights by his side, Stephen embarked on the journey across the English Channel, their faces determined and their resolve unshaken. On December 22, 1135, less than a month after Henry I's death, Stephen of Blois was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey.
The speed of your ascension is remarkable, my lord, but the challenges are just beginning.
The speed with which he had secured the throne was indeed remarkable, but his challenges were only just beginning. Many of the powerful barons who had sworn oaths to support Matilda viewed Stephen as a usurper, and they resented his swift seizure of power.
We must tread carefully, my king. The barons' loyalty is fickle and their support is crucial.
As the coronation took place, a mixture of support and unease was evident among the onlookers, signaling the turbulent times ahead. Matilda, upon receiving news of her father's death and Stephen's usurpation of the throne, was enraged.
This throne is mine by right. I will reclaim it, no matter the cost.
Pregnant and furious, she vowed to reclaim what was rightfully hers. However, she was in no position to launch an immediate invasion of England. Her husband, Geoffrey Plantagenet, was occupied with consolidating his own power in Anjou, and she needed time to gather support for her cause.
We must be strategic. Geoffrey's focus on Anjou is crucial, but so is rallying our allies. Patience will be our ally in this fight.
Matilda, depicted as a powerful figure, began planning her strategy with her advisors, laying the groundwork for the storm that was to come. The early years of Stephen's reign, though marked by underlying tensions, were characterized by a surprising degree of peace and even progress. Eager to prove himself a worthy successor to Henry I, Stephen embarked on a series of initiatives aimed at consolidating his power and winning the support of his subjects. He traveled extensively throughout the kingdom, holding court in major cities and demonstrating his commitment to upholding justice and order. As Stephen settled into his role as king, he faced mounting challenges from those who questioned his legitimacy and sought to exploit any perceived weakness in his rule. Rebellions, often fueled by local grievances and ambitions, flared up in various parts of the kingdom, testing Stephen's ability to maintain order and enforce his authority.
The king's resolve was constantly tested by those who saw opportunity in chaos. It was a time of great uncertainty, with loyalties shifting and conflicts erupting unexpectedly.
Indeed, maintaining control was an ongoing struggle, one that required both strategic acumen and unwavering determination. As Stephen grappled with internal rebellions and the ever-present threat posed by Matilda's claim, he made a series of miscalculations that would have disastrous consequences for his reign. One of his most significant errors was his handling of the powerful Anglo-Norman barons, who held the true balance of power in the kingdom. The year 1139 marked a turning point in Stephen's reign, the year when simmering tensions finally boiled over into open civil war.
Having secured the support of key barons and my half-brother, Robert of Gloucester, I landed in England, ready to claim my birthright.
Her arrival ignited a conflict that would drag on for nearly 2 decades, plunging the kingdom into an abyss of violence and instability. By 1141, England was a kingdom divided.
Stephen, though still nominally king, had lost control of vast swathes of territory.
Matilda, based in the southwest, commanded the loyalty of a powerful bloc of barons, including her half-brother, Robert of Gloucester.
The line between loyalty and self-preservation blurred as nobles on both sides of the conflict maneuvered for advantage, their alliances shifting with the winds of fortune. With Stephen captured and imprisoned, Matilda's moment of triumph had arrived. She traveled to London, the heart of the kingdom, to be crowned queen.
However, her victory proved to be short-lived.
Matilda, though a formidable woman in her own right, lacked the political skills and the common touch that had made her father, Henry I, such an effective ruler. As the conflict between Stephen and Matilda raged on, England descended further into anarchy. The country, once a beacon of prosperity and order under Henry I, became a battleground where rival armies clashed. Castles changed hands with alarming frequency, and the civilian population bore the brunt of the suffering. In a dramatic turn of events, Stephen, who had been imprisoned for several months, was exchanged for Robert of Gloucester, who had been captured by Stephen's forces. Stephen's release, negotiated by his wife, Queen Matilda of Boulogne, breathed new life into his cause.
The king, far from being broken by his ordeal, returned to the fray with renewed determination, eager to reclaim his throne and restore order to his shattered kingdom.
The release of Stephen and subsequent recapture of the throne did not bring an end to the fighting. Instead, England was thrust deeper into a period of brutal civil war. The kingdom became a chessboard with Stephen and Matilda as the players, moving their pieces, armies, and alliances in a deadly game of strategy and attrition. The nobility, ever opportunistic, switched sides with dizzying frequency, their allegiances dictated by self-preservation and the promise of land and power. The year 1142 saw a dramatic shift in the conflict, marked by the Siege of Oxford. Stephen, in a bold move, besieged Matilda at Oxford Castle, hoping to deliver a decisive blow to her forces.
Trapped within the castle walls, facing dwindling supplies and the constant threat of Stephen's forces. It was a true test of our resolve.
The siege lasted for 3 months, a testament to the determination of both sides. As the Civil War dragged on, its devastating impact on England became increasingly apparent. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, a chronicle of English history, described the period as one in which Christ and his saints slept. The land, once prosperous and fertile, lay in ruins. Villages were abandoned, their inhabitants either fleeing the fighting or falling victim to the famine and disease that followed in the wake of war. By 1153, both sides in the conflict were exhausted. The war had dragged on for nearly 2 decades, leaving England devastated and its people desperate for peace. Stephen, now in his 50s, had lost his heir, Eustace, and his grip on power was weakening.
Though still determined, it became clear that a decisive military victory was unlikely.
And so a treaty was forged in exhaustion, the Treaty of Wallingford, marking the beginning of the end for this long and brutal conflict. The Treaty of Wallingford, signed in 1153, offered a much-needed respite from the chaos that had gripped England for almost 2 decades. Stephen, wearied by years of constant struggle, now focused on securing the fragile peace and ensuring a smooth transition of power to his heir, Henry Plantagenet.
Though he remained king in name, the treaty effectively marked the beginning of the end of his reign.
In the autumn of 1154, while on a royal progress to Dover, a coastal town of strategic importance, King Stephen fell ill. The details of his ailment remain shrouded in the mists of time, but chroniclers of the era suggest it was a painful and debilitating affliction. The once vigorous king, who had personally led his forces into battle countless times, was now bedridden, his life slowly ebbing away. Stephen's death in 1154 brought to a close a tumultuous reign, one often overshadowed by the chaos of the Anarchy. His legacy, much like the man himself, is a complex tapestry woven from ambition, miscalculation, and moments of genuine leadership. History, often written by the victors, has not always been kind to Stephen, casting him as a usurper who plunged England into a needless civil war. While Stephen's individual legacy remains a subject of debate, there is no doubt that the Anarchy, the defining event of his reign, had a profound and lasting impact on the English monarchy. The prolonged period of civil war, with its brutal sieges, shifting alliances, and widespread lawlessness, exposed the vulnerabilities of royal authority and the precarious nature of power in the 12th century. Stephen's reign, though often viewed through the lens of the Anarchy, was ultimately a time of both chaos and transformation. The civil war that engulfed England during his rule, while undeniably destructive, also served as a catalyst for change, reshaping the political landscape and laying the foundation for the future development of the English monarchy. If you made it this far into the video, just want to say thank you, hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And again, thanks for watching.